For the first time in decades, car ownership among young people in the UK is dropping dramatically. And it's not just a temporary dip, it's a cultural shift. Statistics show that far fewer people under 30 are getting behind the wheel compared to previous generations, with many delaying or even abandoning the idea of buying a car altogether. What once symbolized freedom, independence, and adulthood has now become, for many, a burden rather than a dream. Unlike their parents, who often saw their first car as a rite of passage, today's young Brits are questioning whether they even need one at all. Whether it's the overwhelming financial costs, the rise of convenient alternatives like ride-sharing and public transport, or a growing awareness of environmental issues, the car is slowly losing its throne as the ultimate life milestone. This decline is more than just a statistic. It's a generational redefinition of what it means to move through the world. One of the biggest reasons young Brits are stepping away from car ownership is simple: money. Buying a car in today's UK market is more expensive than ever, with even second-hand vehicles seeing sharp price hikes in the past few years. But the costs don't stop there. Insurance premiums for young drivers can run into the thousands. Fuel prices remain unstable, and routine maintenance or surprise repairs can quickly drain a student or early career salary. Add road tax, parking fees, and city congestion charges to the mix, and suddenly owning a car feels less like a symbol of freedom and more like a financial trap. For many, in their late teens and 20s, the numbers just don't add up. Why commit to a monthly outflow that rivals rent or utilities when cheaper, more flexible alternatives are available? For this generation, the car has gone from being a gateway to independence to an unaffordable luxury. If the upfront cost of buying a car wasn't enough, the insurance premiums young Brits face are another major roadblock, and for many, it's the deal breaker. In the UK, drivers under 25 are often charged the highest rates, with some quotes exceeding the value of the car itself. For a first-time driver with little experience, annual premiums can easily soar past £2,000 to £3,000, making the dream of owning even a modest, used hatchback feel impossible. This has left countless young people questioning whether it's worth it at all. And unlike previous generations, who could get cheap coverage in their late teens, today's youth are caught in a system where their age alone is seen as a financial risk. Even schemes like black box insurance, where driving behavior is tracked to lower costs, haven't fully solved the issue because the starting prices are already so high. The result? Many simply throw up their hands and say, why bother? For many young Brits, especially those living in major cities like London, Manchester, Birmingham, or Glasgow, the need for a personal car has simply vanished. With extensive public transport networks, ranging from the underground and trams to buses and affordable ride-hailing apps, getting around without owning a car has become more convenient than ever. In London, for example, the Oyster card and contactless systems make traveling across the city seamless, while cycling and e-scooters are rising as eco-friendly alternatives for short commutes. Parking spaces are scarce, congestion charges add yet another layer of cost, and driving in heavily crowded streets is more stress than freedom. For urban youth, cars are no longer the default choice for mobility, but rather a hassle that doesn't fit their lifestyle. Many now see it as smarter to rely on shared, sustainable, and low-cost transport options, choosing flexibility and simplicity over the financial and practical burdens of car ownership. Another powerful reason young Brits are quitting cars is their deep concern for the climate crisis. Unlike previous generations, today's youth are growing up fully aware of the devastating impact that carbon emissions have on the planet, and they're determined not to make the same mistakes. Traditional petrol and diesel cars are seen as symbols of environmental harm, contributing to air pollution, global warming, and the destruction of ecosystems. Even though electric vehicles are rising in popularity, they remain too expensive for most young people, and many still question their true eco-friendliness due to battery production and electricity sources. As a result, Gen Z and millennials often choose more sustainable options like walking, cycling, car sharing, or public transport over buying their own vehicle. For this generation, rejecting car ownership isn't just about saving money. It's about aligning with their values and taking a stand for a greener future. Beyond money and the environment, young Brits are rethinking what really matters in their lives. And for many, cars simply aren't a priority anymore. Instead of saving for a first car, many are putting their money towards experiences like travel, gadgets, or hobbies that give them more immediate satisfaction. The rise of the digital age has also shifted what independence means. A smartphone and a stable Wi-Fi connection now provide access to friends, work, and entertainment in ways that cars once did. Social media trends also play a role, with younger generations often valuing lifestyle flexibility over traditional status symbols, like owning a vehicle. In fact, for some, not owning a car is a badge of modern minimalism, proving they can live smarter, cheaper, and more sustainably. This shift in priorities reflects a bigger cultural change, where the car is no longer the centerpiece of young adulthood, but just one option among many ways to live and connect. As car ownership declines, an entire ecosystem of alternatives has risen to fill the gap for young Brits. Services like Zipcar, Enterprise Car Club, and Co-Wheels allow people to borrow a vehicle only when they truly need one, eliminating the burden of full-time ownership. Ride-hailing apps such as Uber and Bolt have also become a go-to solution for nights out or quick trips, while long-distance coaches and trains cover intercity travel at a fraction of the cost of running a personal car. Add in the explosive growth of e-scooters, e-bikes, and cycling infrastructure across UK cities, and it's easy to see why a car feels less necessary than ever. These flexible options offer the freedom to move without the financial, environmental, or logistical baggage of owning a vehicle. For young people, mobility is no longer tied to possession. It's about access on demand. And that shift is rewriting what getting around looks like in modern Britain. Looking ahead, the decline in car ownership among young Brits is likely to reshape the UK's automotive future. Manufacturers, policymakers, and urban planners are already adapting to this generational shift. Car makers are investing heavily in electric vehicles, but unless prices fall dramatically, most young people won't be able to afford them anytime soon. Cities, on the other hand, are doubling down on greener, car-free initiatives, expanding pedestrian zones, bike lanes, and low-emission areas that make owning a car feel less practical. At the same time, new mobility solutions like autonomous shuttles, subscription-based car access, and improved public transport networks could become the norm within the next decade. While some predict that the love affair with cars will return once today's youth settle down and start families, others believe the change is permanent. Either way, one thing is clear. The next generation is redefining mobility, and the future of driving in Britain may look radically different from the past.